going to give his graduation speech, all right?
Yeah, Jeremiah said I'm kill him. I gotta go grab him up first.
So, hello. Thank you all for coming here to monumental event with the Humble House. We have our celebration for our first graduate officially on November 11th, Brian Clavette. He's about to give a speech. It's been, of course, it's an electronic-free meeting if you can turn your devices on silent, right? But yeah, it's been a long and winding road, and here we are growing, expanding, and learning from our experience, moving forward beyond recovery to the next level in our lives, right? We're all here trying to achieve the same thing, and it's going to be different for everybody. So that's what we try to provide at Humble House, and with no further ado, Brian.
Thanks everyone for coming. A little nervous, sorry. All right. So it's been said that every journey begins with the first step. Well, I've had a lifetime filled with missteps and false starts. And then two close friends of mine, they sat me down and gave me a verbal boot in the ass, which led me down the path of my recovery. And then I started taking my first steps towards a positive new direction. So after that serious conversation with my friends, I went on my laptop and hit the internet, and I found out about the Hope Recovery Center. I started reading about all the different groups they had here and meetings offered. And one in particular stood out to me, and that was Smart Recovery. The meeting description read, Smart Recovery is the leading self-empowering addiction recovery support group. Our participants learn tools for addiction recovery based on the latest scientific research and participate in a worldwide community, which includes free, self-empowering, science-based mutual help groups. I noticed it mentioned science twice, and I thought to myself, I like science. The description further went on with, the Smart Recovery 4-point program helps people recover from all types of addiction and addictive behaviors, including drug abuse, drug addiction, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, gambling addiction, cocaine addiction, prescription drug abuse, sexual addiction, and problematic addiction to other substances and activities. After reading that, I thought again to myself that I can check off many of those boxes, so I might as well give this group a try. It was at my first meeting when I first heard what the 4 points, the foundation of Smart Recovery's program are. They are building and maintaining motivation, coping with urges, managing thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and living a balanced lifestyle. It was that 4th point that really stood out to me. I've been for all my life been searching for a balanced life, and I think I'm going to check this group out again. It was at the 3rd meeting when I first learned one of Smart's most powerful tools, in my opinion, listing your hierarchy of values, which are what values are personally important and motivate us. I also learned about the shadow of values, or what you could lose by continuing to use and abuse substances. For example, if stability is in your HOV, chaos in your life would be its shadow. So after going around the room and hearing and seeing on the whiteboard everyone's HOVs and their shadow values, it finally hit home that I really need to change my ways. It was also around these first few meetings that I started to hear about this mythical character named Footloose. I heard that he was the go-to guy for smart addiction around here, and he also ran a smart-based, sober, transitional living facility. It was a few weeks later when I finally was able to attend one of his classes. And man, did he live up to all the hype. He ran through 4 of Smart's tools wicked fast, yet thoroughly, and helped me understand this program even better. I asked at the meeting's end if I could add him on Facebook, then proceeded to message him a lot. I told Foot my story, and I was interested in living at the Humble House. At the time, the house was full, but we kept communicating, and a few weeks later, he had an opening. So after reading the contract and the rules in the contract, I hiked over to Merrimack Street to check the place out. After the tour of the house, we hung around and talked, not just about recovery, but also general things right or wrong in this world and where we might be heading. It was then I knew in my gut, my mind, and my heart, Humble House was the place I needed to be. Humble House is the only SMART affiliated sober living facility in New England, and one of 2 we know of in the United States. It's also the only known alternative around to the usual 12-step sober living houses. At Humble House, recovery from addiction is just one of the goals. In my opinion, its main objective is similar to SMART's 4th point, living a balanced life. We are required to do essays or self-actualizations as part of Foot's program, starting with 10 points in the initiate level, 7 points at the adept level, and down to 5 points when you reach the master level. There are various ways you can collect your points. You get 1 point for attending a meeting. If you host one, you get 3 points. If you exercise, that's another one. Another way I found really interesting is listening to various lectures or podcasts that help us broaden our minds and world views. At Humble House, we are encouraged to practice the EARNED acronym, which is exercise, attitude, rest, nutrition every day. We are encouraged to join the recovery community and activities, the fellowship, being attending a baseball game, or going to a rally or community event, or my favorite, sober bowling. We are encouraged to dispute all thoughts and deem them rational or irrational and follow the correct course of action. We are encouraged to make ourselves responsible to our housemates, our community, and ourselves. These past 6 months haven't always been easy, but life is not a participation trophy you just get by showing up. You need to put in the time and work hard and earn your reward. My journey is just beginning in my eyes, but at Humble House, we don't count the days, we make the days count. I am ready and prepared for this new journey, and thanks to the Humble House and Smart Recovery, my first new steps are positive. I'm finally heading in the right direction.
So, thanks, Brian. Thanks to everybody, all our supporters. Just glad to have you and happy to look forward to the future and you know, where we're going to go from here. It's you know, straight up, sky's the limit. And we have tons of food here, pizza before it gets cold. Everybody dive right in. Thanks for coming. Unless anybody else wants to come up and give a speech.
So proud of you, Brian. Thank you.
Brian.
You're awesome. Awesome, dude.
Good job, Brian.
So happy for you, man.
All right, everyone,
love
dig in.
that.
Go Patriots! Had to throw that in. Had to throw that in.
Now go Cowboys!
Really?
Oh yes.
Oh my God. It's like I don't.